Hello everyone. I'm Professor Renee Leon, Vice-Chancellor of Charles Sturt University. Firstly, I would like to acknowledge the traditional owners and custodians of the land and pay my respects to the heritage and culture of elders past, present and emerging. I am proud to send this graduation message to you. On behalf of the entire Charles Sturt University community, I extend my congratulations to you. Your achievement is a testament to perseverance, ambition and adaptability. Part of the excitement of graduating is being able to share it with your family, friends and those that have supported you. You have worked hard at achieving the success that we celebrate with you today. Graduating is a major life achievement, and it truly is a day to celebrate. And I ask you to pause and contemplate the journey that has led you to this moment. At some point, I'm sure that each of you will have faced professional, personal, academic, and even pandemic challenges. I want you to take a moment to reflect on your significant academic achievement and how it will help you to go where you want to be in the future. The ethos at Charles Sturt University is clearly described by the Wiradjuri phrase Yindyamara Winangana, which means the wisdom of respectfully knowing how to live well in a world worth living in. With the experiences you have gained during your studies, you are uniquely placed to go out into the world and enjoy a career that makes a real difference to your community. I wish you every success as you embark on your next steps. And remember, as alumni, you will always be a valued member of the Charles Sturt University community, and I urge you to keep in contact with us as you continue your professional and personal journey. Once again, congratulations on your graduation and best wishes for the future. Thank you.
Please stand and welcome our official party. Please be seated. We acknowledge and respect the traditional custodians whose ancestral lands we are meeting on today. We acknowledge the deep feelings of attachment and relationship of Aboriginal people to country. We also pay respects to other Aboriginal people and elders present here, attending from other areas of Australia. We acknowledge that many cultures live on this land today, and we should collectively respect the land, its past and present story for our future generations to enjoy. With that, please join us in viewing an acknowledgement of country to express our collective respect for the traditional custodians of country where learning and research takes place.
Across Australia and the world, wherever our students learn, our researchers discover, and our communities meet, we acknowledge the traditional owners and custodians of the lands. We acknowledge that our footprint extends across the lands. We pay our respects to our elders, past, present, emerging, and those still to come. And we acknowledge the essential place that all First Nations peoples have within our university, through our languages, cultures, knowledge and ceremonies, as sovereign peoples in our regions and communities. At Charles Sturt University, we are guided in everything we do by the Wiradjuri phrase, Yindamara Wanangala, the wisdom of respectfully knowing how to live well in a world worth living in. Its essence of meaning is that we all seek to create a world worth living in by developing and spreading knowledges. And we do so by making connections and building relationships. Connecting all students to educational opportunities that facilitate and focus on them reaching their potentials. Connecting our research to real-world contexts. Connecting new technologies with traditional knowledge systems to recover, protect ecosystems and to forge a more sustainable future. Connecting people to share ideas as we work together for a brighter tomorrow. One that respects First Nations ways of knowing, being and doing, and creates a world worth living in.
Please now all stand and join Ms. Liz Player in singing the first verse of the National Anthem.
Australia's more than
Please be seated. Thank you, Liz. I now invite the Presiding Officer, Chair of the Academic Senate, Professor Jane Quinn, to deliver the opening address.
Thank you, and good morning. Graduates and distinguished guests, I'm really delighted to welcome you to our 2023 Charles Sturt University graduation ceremony. Firstly, I would also like to acknowledge the traditional custodians of the lands on whom we meet today, the Darug peoples, and I pay respect to their heritage and culture, their elders both past and present. And I also extend that warm welcome to any other First Nations peoples with us here in the room today. I'd equally like to extend a special welcome to our honourable guests for today's ceremony, University Council Member Diane McGrath, and our guest speaker and distinguished Charles Sturt alumni, Mr. Kieran Bridger. You'll be hearing from him later. Today is a special day. It's been one that you've been heading towards for some time. And so on behalf of the university, I would like to welcome you all, graduates, your families, your friends. We're all here today to share in this special honour and pleasure of coming together to acknowledge this important graduation ceremony as a single point in your lives. Your achievements in graduating today are a testament to your endeavours over many years, and part of that excitement is being able to share that with those who have supported you along that journey. Your resilience in navigating the past few years is also acknowledged, accommodating to changes both in our world, in our local environments, in response to the COVID-19 pandemic, in your teaching and learning, all have brought you to this place. And so I hope you feel that your graduation is a visible and tangible reward for those efforts. As graduates of Charles Sturt University, you are a diverse range of students. Some here today might be the first person to graduate from university in their family. Others of you may be here for the second or third time. Some have studied part-time, others full-time. Many, if not all of you, have balanced work, life, family commitments, and juggled those varying responsibilities to reach your goal of graduation today. So we recognise that no one of your journeys is the same, and yet all of you have reached this successful outcome. There may have been discussion in recent times about the role of higher education in our society. What does it mean for Australia, for the planet, for the world that we're aiming to live in now and in the future? But I would suggest there's never been a more important time to be knowledgeable, to be an active learner, to be undertaking new studies into the way that our world is now and can be in the future. So whether you're graduating with a professional qualification, you're entering an industry, or you undertook a degree simply because it was an area of academic interest for you, being successful at that endeavour and the graduation certificate that you will hold in your hands as proof of those endeavours has never been more important. Our world has been changing at a breakneck speed in its complexity, in the challenges that we have to face on a daily basis. And so being part of an alumni that is well prepared, that has learned how to learn and assimilate new knowledge has never been more important and will put you in a position of authority and knowledge for the rest of your lives. So take this learning that you've undertaken with you into the future. You now have an opportunity as well to extend that learning to others around you. So be a knowledge broker, whether that's for your profession, your community, your family, or your discipline. Your value in holding knowledge and extending it has never been in higher regard. So as graduates, you have learned, you've assimilated knowledge, you have a wealth of facts, figures, data, thoughts and processes in your brains. But your next challenge is now to develop wisdom. Wisdom comes with learning and knowledge, but it also extends outside of that learning and knowledge into how you apply that into your everyday lives, into your interactions with others, and extending knowledge and accepting the responsibility of the knowledge and wisdom that you hold is a key part to where you will go in your futures. At Charles Sturt University, we're very aware of the important role that we play in our communities. We're proud to have the highest rates of graduate employment in the nation, and this in part is a factor of the number of professional courses that we teach, but it is also testament to you, our graduates, and the professional qualities, the academic learning and knowledge that you take into your communities when you leave here today. So we want to acknowledge the role that you play in all of our success, as that cannot be overlooked. Whilst knowledge is important, you've also learnt a whole pile of soft skills while you've been here with us at Charles Sturt. You've learnt to meet deadlines, work in teams, be self-sufficient, and approach life with a level of inquiry that will take you wherever you want to go. So for those of you completing your first degree, think of this graduation as the start of a journey to lifelong learning. For others of you, this is a continuation of your pathway. But wherever you're at on that journey of lifelong learning, keep Charles Sturt and the place that you hold in our importance and in our hearts, in your minds. Our university ethos is clearly described by the Wiradjuri phrase, Yindamara Wanangana, which means the wisdom of respectfully knowing how to live well in a world worth living in. As Charles Sturt University graduates, you will now contribute to that world worth living in and continue to be a vibrant and sustainable part of all of our futures, whether you're starting out in your chosen profession, seeking career advancement, or pushing the boundaries of current research. As a Charles Sturt alumni, you're now part of our extended family, and you'll be able to give back to your communities on a local, national, and global level. So today, I ask you to take a moment, once you have walked across the stage, received confirmation of your award, to reflect on the really significant achievement that has brought you here today, and how that will be a major stepping stone to get you to where you want to be now and into the future. So on behalf of the whole university, all your peers, all of my academic colleagues, and all the staff that have supported you through your journey, I wish you every success as you continue on your professional and personal lives. As alumni, you will always be a valued member of our Charles Sturt community, and we look forward to hearing your stories of success into the future, how you have made a difference and changed the world for the better. So on behalf of the entire university staff, I wish you congratulations on award of your degree today. Thank you.
I am now honoured to introduce Mr. Kieran Bridger. Since he was young, Kieran has felt called to help people. He commenced a welfare degree at Charles Sturt straight out of high school while working as the lead facilitator for a dynamic not-for-profit organisation. Since his graduation, Kieran has trained over 120,000 young people, parents and teachers in the areas of leadership, mental health, life skills and resilience. He has worked in over 500 schools and organisations across Australia, New Zealand, Singapore and Europe, helping people to discover their calling and live out their potential. Kieran has worked with major youth organisations such as Rising Generations, his own organisation Speak Life, and Australia's leading in-school mental health programs through the Life Changer Foundation. Kieran's passion for helping teenagers stems from his own experience of bullying and loss in high school. The motivation to help young people deal with difficulty drives him, and nothing is more rewarding for Kieran than to see a young person realise their potential and overcome their challenges. Kieran connects with the young people he works with through vulnerable and relatable stories from his own life and from the lives of those who have inspired him. He is a published author of Character Assassination: How to Survive Bullying and Heal Your Heart. Kieran currently lives in Newcastle and runs student workshops across Australia, New Zealand and Africa. He still loves emo music, good coffee, sport and beach, and spending time with his family. Please join me in welcoming Charles Sturt alumni, Mr. Kieran Bridger.
Thank you so much. Good morning, everyone. My name is Kieran, and it's my absolute privilege to be speaking to you on your day of celebration, graduates. I work predominantly with teenagers, so if you could either pretend to be asleep, continuously roll your eyes at me or scroll through TikTok, that will make me feel a lot more comfortable and at home as I speak. But to all of our graduating students, congratulations, you've made it. All of those 11:59 p.m. submissions, close calls with Turnitin, carrying the group projects, wondering if one packet of 2-minute noodles is enough nutrition for a week, and Menti B's on the phone to mum are done. In all seriousness, you can be immensely proud of yourselves for achieving what you have. Achieving a degree takes a lot of time, effort and energy, but today we acknowledge just how worth every ounce of effort you have made was. As we celebrate your work over the past few years, we also reset and look to your future. And today, with my short time, I hope to create a space for reflection, celebration and hopeful excitement for your futures. As an introverted, semi-retired emo kid, I'm not a fan of small talk. My least favourite question to answer is, what do you do for work? I never know how to answer it. Some answers I've given include that I'm a youth programs facilitator, I run fun workshops in schools, I believe in changing the face of mental health in Australia, but the question often perplexes me and it's led me to a lot of reflection in recent weeks on how to best answer that question when I'm asked it. The best thought that I've come up with so far is that my job creates opportunities for young people to break the cycles in their lives that have held them back from being the best versions of themselves. This thought has stuck with me enough that it becomes the main subject of my address today. One of the joys of working with young people is that they often teach you far more than you can teach them. Children and teenagers are in many ways still very naive about the world and reflect upon it with innocence. I was also once an innocent teenager who had no idea what I was doing, and I like to publicly embarrass myself in schools, and I figured this was a great environment to do the same. When I was in year 8, I fell in love for the first time. I went to an all-boys school in Canberra, and the only opportunity to meet girls was at OzTag after school. I hadn't even met this young lady. She was about 50 metres across the oval from me. It was like the clouds parted and the sun shone down upon her, and I decided that in that moment she was the one. I found out later that her younger sister was friends with my little sister, and chances had it, a few weeks later her younger sister was at our house for a play date. I heard a knock on the front door and went and opened the door, and there she was standing in front of me. I'd found out by that point that her name was Steph. I just decided to shoot my shot, didn't even say hello. I came straight out with, "Will you go out with me?" She said no. I awkwardly paused for about 10 seconds and I followed it up with a nice little high-pitched, "Please." She didn't say anything, went back and got in the car, and I never saw her again. Teenage years are incredibly awkward. One important thing, though, that children have taught me is the undying value of choosing resilience in the face of adversity. Every day I meet kids who have faced lives that are far worse than anything you can imagine. Some of you may be grown-up versions of those kids, and to you I say an even deeper sense of congratulations for what you have achieved today. Your hardship did not win. Earlier this year I had the privilege of publishing a book, which sounds fancy, but to be completely vulnerable, it actually nearly never made it out of the trash folder on my computer. Self-doubt has held me back for large parts of my life, which I mostly attribute to the challenges I faced in high school, which formed the main subject of that book. As mentioned, I went to high school in Canberra, and it was an all-boys school, which I think in some ways can be worse than all-girls schools. But hit year 11, and at that point in time, I was a relatively confident student. I wasn't overly popular, I wasn't sort of anywhere in the social scheme, just kind of floating about doing my thing. Played lots of sport and played lots of music and generally enjoyed life. Halfway through year 11 though, I had a rumour spread about me by another student in my year group, which wasn't true. And within the space of a week, I'd lost my entire friendship group. That then evolved into severe bullying that took place over the next at least 12 months. And that was not just coming from my own friends, it was coming from my whole year group, from students older and younger than me as well. And to paint the picture of what an average day for me looked like at that time, with my friends involved, obviously people had access to my phone number and my social media. So before I even got out of bed in the morning, I would wake up to multiple notifications on my phone telling me that I had no value, that I didn't deserve to be alive, and that I should just do everyone a favour and disappear. I would then get on the bus for 45 minutes to school with no teacher supervision, and that would continue. I was physically attacked, emotionally abused. They would do things like throw my bag out the bus window onto the freeway. I would then get to school and face hundreds of comments attacking my character over the course of that day, and then go home in the afternoons and have it continue online. I think the challenge with a situation like that is when somebody's saying those things to you so many times, it really starts to sink in and you start to believe it. Thankfully for me, after being stuck in that cycle of self-doubt for a very long time as a result of what happened, I was able to attend a leadership camp in Sydney where for the first time I was encouraged to talk about the challenges that I'd had in my life and work through some of those. And to me, I think the moment that really stood out was after I'd shared, having a young man come up to me and introduce himself. And he said, "Hey mate, my name's Ryan. I was listening to you share earlier and I just wanted to say I'm really sorry that you've been through that. I went through something really similar in year 7 and 8, and if you need someone to talk to, I'd love to be that person for you." And I remember standing there as an 18-year-old thinking this is very odd because guys don't talk about our feelings. We tend to cover them up and pretend everything's okay. But for the first time in my life, I felt like I wasn't alone and that somebody understood where I was coming from. And through that friendship, I was able to process so much of what happened to me and break the cycle of what had been holding me back up until that point. Young people are deeply profound. I'm yet to meet a young person who has not faced an unbearable challenge that they have not been able to overcome. You were all children once, navigating a confusing world with blissful ignorance. You evolved into teenagers with pimples and wafting odours of sweat and Lynx Africa. You grew insecurities, self-doubt and emotions that were far more complex than your developing brain could comprehend. Life kicked you when you were down and threw deeply unfair challenges at you when you least expect it, but you made it. As we reflect today on your incredible achievement in attaining your degrees, we also reflect on the fact that life tried to get in your way, but you did not let it win. You have survived 100% of your toughest battles, and you come out the other side equipped with a fierce arsenal of life experiences that serves one true purpose, which is to help break cycles. To break your own, yes, but also to help others break theirs, as Ryan did for me. Challenges will inevitably work their way into your minds again and tell you that you can't do it, but you can. You have before many times, and you will again. I think often about what it takes for us to break the cycles of life that hold us and others back. And from my time working with young people who have faced far greater than what I could ever imagine, I believe it comes down to 3 simple things, which are self-awareness, hope, and connection. Self-awareness allows us to take captive our insecurities, our emotions, our thoughts, and the doubt that holds us back from believing that we can break cycles and change the world. It's a powerful thing to name what holds us back because once it's out of your head, you can tackle it with your hands. We need hope to remind us that just beyond the darkest hour of night is the sunrise. Once again, you've survived 100% of your toughest battles, and you can once more with the help of hope and believing for an amazing future. I had the privilege earlier this year of travelling to Uganda to deliver mental health workshops at a mental health forum for university students, and it is still in the forefront of my mind how incredibly hopeful they are, despite being some of the most impoverished people that I've ever met. They have physically nothing but emotionally everything, and it is that hope for their future that carries them through some of the worst circumstances I've ever seen. Lastly, I believe that we need connection. This life is not meant to be lived alone. In my experience, there is no greater medicine for a broken soul than finding a purpose that allows you to take your greatest challenges and use those learnings to guide others through their own. Chances are the people that have helped you to break your cycles are sitting in this room or watching on a live stream, and if they are, I highly encourage you to thank them for that afterwards. Those that truly break these cycles and change this world are not self-focused. They believe in humanity because it is in people that we find our true purpose in life. You will know when you've broken your own cycles in the moments that you help others to break theirs. So as we take a moment to celebrate you and your incredible achievement today, I encourage you to reflect on your own life cycles. Celebrate not just your achievements, but how many hardships you have endured to be here, because that is a celebration of your immeasurable strength, and it is an indicator of the fact that you are about to step out into the world beyond university and begin to break cycles that you could never imagine. Wherever your passions and inspirations lie, it is your turn to significantly influence the cycles of this world. From the bottom of my heart, thank you for the amazing future that you are all about to live. Thank you for enduring your own challenges so that you may use those stories to help others and better their lives. Thank you in advance for changing this world. Your stories will be told for years to come. Congratulations and enjoy your celebrations.
Thank you, Kieran. Graduates and distinguished guests, we are now at the most important part of our ceremony. I now invite Professor John McDonald to present the graduates to the presiding officer, Professor Jane Quinn.
Presiding officer, I present the graduates in the Doctor of Ministry. Helen Margot Crane-Welsby, whose thesis title was An Investigation of non-Muslim religious educators' attitudes, perceptions and experience in relation to teaching about Islam. The research investigated attitudes and perceptions of 15 non-Muslim religious educators and their reported experience in learning and teaching about Islam. Participants reported a range of pedagogical initiatives supporting positive stereotypes of Islam to counter the influence of media distortions, misrepresentations and stereotypes. Results support the need for further research and provision of appropriate targeted professional learning for educators. Presiding Officer, I present Dr. Helen Margot Crane-Welsby. Peter Woodward, whose thesis title was Boring or Divine Encounter, Evaluating the Effectiveness of Non-Didactic Approaches to Preaching. This thesis presents preaching as expressive of the mission of God's love. It introduces the key concept of non-didactic preaching and claims it is more effective in engaging congregations than directive styles, as it invites them to become participants into that mission. It then reflects on a group project which demonstrates how introducing a group of ministers to non-didactic preaching can enliven their approach to preaching and enhance their effectiveness as preachers. Presiding Officer, I present Dr. Peter Woodward. Presiding Officer, I present the graduates in the Doctor of Philosophy. Penelope Jane Jackson, whose thesis title was Writing and Writing, Crime and Copying in Art History. This PhD thesis by prior publication presents the findings and the challenges of researching and writing regarding crime, fraud, vandalism and theft, and copying, both legitimate and fraudulent, in art history. Penelope Jackson's innovative and insightful books, Art Thieves, Fakers and Fraudsters, The New Zealand Story, 2016, Females in the Frame, Women, Art and Crime, 2019, and The Art of Copying Art, 2022, cast light on the dark side of art history. Presiding Officer, I present Dr. Penelope Jane Jackson. Maina Talia, whose thesis title was Am I Not Your Tuakoi? A Tuvaluan Plea for Survival in a Time of Climate Emergency. Those who live on the low-lying islands of Tuvalu are among the most vulnerable in the world to threats of rising sea levels and global climate change. Their carbon emissions are minuscule, They are weak actors in terms of the geopolitics of climate change. This interdisciplinary thesis draws upon Indigenous knowledge, the ethics of climate justice, insights from climate science, familiarity with discourses surrounding the Anthropocene in order to explore the implications of the parable of the Good Samaritan. Am I not your tuakoi, your neighbour? Presiding Officer, I present Dr. Maina Talia. Presiding Officer, that concludes the presentation of the Faculty of Arts and Education doctorate graduates, and I now call upon Professor Lewis Bizzo to announce the next group of graduates for the Faculty of Business, Justice and Behavioural Sciences.
Presiding Officer, I present the graduate in the Doctor of Public Safety, Bradley John Wright, whose thesis title was Crisis Event Decision Resilience, the Influence of Post-Event Scrutiny on During-Event Decision-Making. This research considered the influence of post-event public scrutiny on the decision-making of commanders during major crisis events. Results demonstrate that this scrutiny promotes negative organisation and individual behaviour as commanders seek to follow prescriptive policy and fail to continuously review and adapt. The decision resilience model is an integrated system designed to support optimal during event decision making and enhance robust post-event review. Presiding Officer, I present Dr. Bradley John Wright. Presiding Officer, I present the graduate in the Doctor of Philosophy, Pam Du-An Huynh, whose thesis title was Non-Market Economy Status in Anti-Dumping Investigations and Proceedings, a case study of Vietnam. International trading practices that are considered to be unfair may be investigated under rules established by the WTO. The research examines one such practice known as dumping, and finds that exports from Vietnam and other non-market economies are disadvantaged when allegations against them are being investigated. The thesis provides recommendations to help exporters overcome these disadvantages and identifies ways in which their government can support them. Presiding Officer, I present Dr. Pam Du-An Huynh. Vipul Kumar. Presiding Officer, I present the graduate in the Doctor of Philosophy, Vipul Kumar, whose thesis title was Making of Senior Police Leaders, a comparative study of police executive leadership training in India, Australia and USA. This thesis is a comparative qualitative study of flagship police executive leadership development, training programs of India, Australia and US in order to gain an insight into the environment in which these programs operate, their significance with respect to career progression of senior police leaders and further to identify common police leadership attributes, behaviours and competencies desired of police executives in the democratic world. Presiding Officer, I present Dr. Vipul Kumar. Presiding Officer, I present the graduate in the Master of Applied Finance, also graduating with the Master of Intelligence Analysis, Madura Pereira. Presiding Officer, I present the graduate in the Master of Cybersecurity, with postgraduate university medal, Elena Skiflet. Presiding Officer, I present the graduate in the Master of Emergency Management, Alexander Rowan Wiggers de Vries Parry. Presiding Officer, I present the graduates in the Master of Fraud and Financial Crime, with distinction, Talitha Woodman. Adrian John Holt. Presiding Officer, I present the graduates in the Master of Information Technology, Utsav Dungal. Sudeepa Narula. Presiding Officer, I present the graduates in the Master of Intelligence Analysis, with distinction, Roland Richard Dean Higginson. Angie Carmel Holst. Mussarat Hussain. Thomas Joseph Irvin. Claire Lorraine Pearson. Terence John Vidmar. Rhiannon Margaret Williams. Presiding Officer, I present the graduate in the Master of Investigations, Heath Robert Bearer. Presiding Officer, I present the graduates in the Master of Leadership and Management, Policing and Security, Grace Emily Madden. Robert James Mason. Kelly Nash. Presiding Officer, I present the graduates in the Master of Terrorism and Security Studies. With distinction, Jared Anthony George Chiha. With distinction, Jodie Claire Finn. With distinction, Julie Heish. With distinction, Caitlin Nidri. Simone Jane Forostenko. Annabelle Ruth Jones. Despina Porcinitis. Presiding Officer, I present the graduate in the Graduate Diploma of Customs Administration, Glenn Allen John Wood. Presiding Officer, I present the graduate in the Graduate Diploma of Terrorism and Security Studies, Ashley Samantha Haley. Presiding Officer, I present the graduate in the Graduate Certificate of Cybersecurity, Alistair Packer. Presiding Officer, I present the graduate in the Graduate Certificate in Industrial Relations, Maureen Boyd. Presiding Officer, I present the graduate in the Graduate Certificate in Industry Computing, Nathan Patrick Britt. Presiding Officer, I present the graduates in the Graduate Certificate in Intelligence Analysis, Rosina Rahana Ali. James Applehoff. Presiding Officer, I present the graduate in the Graduate Certificate in Terrorism and Security Studies, Mark Wilkins. Presiding Officer, I present the graduates in the Bachelor of Laws, Bachelor of Criminal Justice, Leanne Dorashuk. Alera Kari Sheetha. Presiding Officer, I present the graduate in the Bachelor of Accounting, Yeyun Kao. Presiding Officer, I present the graduate in the Bachelor of Border Management with distinction, Kirsty Marie Brishik. Presiding Officer, I present the graduate in the Bachelor of Business Finance, Cherie Tennille Sharp. Presiding Officer, I present the graduate in the Bachelor of Business, Human Resource Management, Jason Keir. Presiding Officer, I present the graduate in the Bachelor of Business, Insurance, Anna Kobiak. Presiding Officer, I present the graduates in the Bachelor of Criminal Justice, Caitlin Julia Bruce. Holly Rebecca Cameron. Emma Louise Fruin. Yvette Mary Langlands. Lara Kate Mina. Alyssa Rose Paulson. Layla Saltz. Presiding Officer, I present the graduate in the Bachelor of Emergency Management, Brett Michael Robinson. Presiding Officer, I present the graduates in the Bachelor of Information Technology, Miran Durrani. Christopher James Lord. Justin Mackay. Stanley Lopeti Uhi. Prashika Woggle. Presiding Officer, I present the graduates in the Bachelor of Laws, Robert Barker. Abby Claire Council. Kimberly Ann Elliott. Madison Jane Flint. Ebony Lee Lathwaite. Jessica Sincock. Amit Kumar Singh. Presiding Officer, I present the graduates in the Bachelor of Policing, Katrina Lynn Gregory. Laura Mary May. Presiding Officer, I present the graduate in the Bachelor of Policing Investigations, Melissa D. Sluvier. Presiding Officer, I present the graduate in the Bachelor of Policing and Public Safety, Colleen Marie Wood. Presiding Officer, I present the graduate in the Bachelor of Public Safety and Security, Michaela Gay. Presiding Officer, I present the graduate in the Bachelor of Social Science, Psychology, Grace Taylor Corby. Presiding Officer, I present the graduate in the Associate Degree in Emergency Management, Guy William Peter Sadler. Presiding Officer, that concludes the presentation of the Faculty of Business, Justice and Behavioural Science graduates. I now introduce Professor John MacDonald to announce the next group of graduates for the Faculty of Arts and Education.
Presiding Officer, I present the graduates in the Master of Advanced Social Work Practice, Rachel Lee Cassidy. Kalantuba Elijah Conte. Bethany Everett. Presiding Officer, I present the graduate in the Master of Communication with distinction, Jodie Michelle Wadling. Presiding Officer, I present the graduates in the Master of Education Teacher Librarianship, Kirsty Abed Ali. Ainara Alonso Mateos. Michelle Gail Elizabeth Bugajar. Sarah Jane Gibbons. Punit Kaur. Ashley Claire Oxley. Chloe Sarah Pizarro. Spencer Jade Milo Tui. Chelsea Grace Watson. Heather Allison Yurkowski. Presiding Officer, I present the graduate in the Master of Ethics and Legal Studies. With distinction, Leanne Howard. Presiding Officer, I present the graduate in the Master of Gerontology. With distinction, Megan Katrina Cox. Presiding Officer, I present the graduates in the Master of Information Studies. With distinction, Paul Matthew Egan. With distinction, Rebecca Elizabeth Sheed. Dilshad Akhter. Andrew Booth. Brendan Terence Evans. Gabrielle Ewing. Catherine Leslie Gray. Rachel Lowendi. Hyunku Lee. Saba Mania. Althea May Roddicks. Gabriella Regina. Cassandra Catherine Scott. Marina Speziale. Timothy James Tillack. Rachel Florence Westcott. Leanne Wilkes. Julie K. Wilson. Elizabeth Wright. Presiding Officer, I present the graduates in the Master of Ministry. With distinction, Robin Ann Black. Presiding Officer, I present the graduate in the Master of Pastoral Counselling, Christopher Rodney Drood Dudfield. Presiding Officer, I present the graduates in the Master of Social Work Professional Qualifying. With distinction, Jessica Amy Follers. With distinction, Renee Cherie Velez Lovell. Talia Joyce Durkee. Kim Alicia Gray. Tony Joanne Hurd. Rudo Raquel Mbizro. Sonia Ann Varney. Susie Claire Waterman. Presiding Officer, I present the graduates in the Master of Teaching Primary. Mariam Hajar. Presiding Officer, I present the graduates in the Master of Teaching Secondary. Riley Jane O'Connor. Zainab Beza Yavuz. Presiding Officer, I present the graduates in the Graduate Diploma of Information Studies. With distinction, Jodie Ann Sneakus. Josie Kathleen Balsam. Jack Kelly. Sarah Louise Kelsey. Presiding Officer, I present the graduate in the Graduate Diploma in Pastoral Counselling, Kalanisia Rakasau. Presiding Officer, I present the graduate in the Graduate Diploma of Theological Studies, Liam Anthony Martin. Presiding Officer, I present the graduate in the Graduate Certificate in Communication, Rachel Moore. Presiding Officer, I present the graduate in the Graduate Certificate in Digital Communication, Sarah Ashley Bell Baguli. Presiding Officer, I present the graduate in the Bachelor of Social Work Honours, with Honours Class 1, Grace Rosser. Presiding Officer, I present the graduate in the Bachelor of Communication Advertising, Bachelor of Business Marketing, with distinction, Perry Grace Kathleen Gibbons. Presiding Officer, I present the graduates in the Bachelor of Communication and with the Undergraduate University Medal, Sophie Michaela Linton. With distinction, Hannah Brooke Ruiz. Jordan Raymond O'Shea. Presiding Officer, I present the graduates in the Bachelor of Creative Industries, with distinction, Ashley Karen Rayner. Mustafa Deniz Agan. Liam Chester. Presiding Officer, I present the graduates in the Bachelor of Education, Birth to 5 years, Chetna Bhatt. Christina Anita Galliini. Naveen Nawar. Ashton Savage. Belinda Stanley. Ariane Velasco. Presiding Officer, I present the graduate in the Bachelor of Education K-12, Lachlan Thomas Wilson. Presiding Officer, I present the graduate in the Bachelor of Educational Studies, Sarah Dunn. Presiding Officer, I present the graduates in the Bachelor of Human Services, with distinction, Matthew John Gregg. With distinction, Samantha Hewitson. Marissa Beattie. Catherine Annie Elizabeth Gray. Julia Christine Jones. Tariro Precious Mapipa. Jade Raquel Norton. Christy Verinder. Tamara Sky Walters. Presiding Officer, I present the graduates in the Bachelor of Information Studies, Amy Mayra Burgess Stride. Laura John Ilal. Isaac Reese Pay. Parnita Singh. Sarah Walter. Presiding Officer, I present the graduate in the Bachelor of Liberal Studies, Arts, Anastasia Claire Lynette. Presiding Officer, I present the graduate in the Bachelor of Social Science, Social Welfare, Catherine Peter McMillan. Presiding Officer, I present the graduates in the Bachelor of Social Work, Beth Rayner Attard. Jennifer Bischow. Elizabeth Catherine Boyd. Regina Fazula. Felicity Kate Foe. Brooke Gillard. Zia Hadari. Ainsley Kelly. Naquil Brianne Lewington. Elizabeth Evangeline Marr. Cynthia Saini. Holly Louise Shires. Presiding Officer, I present the graduate in the Bachelor of Teaching Primary, Andrea Brunetto. Presiding Officer, I present the graduate in the Bachelor of Theatre Media, Kayla Lillian Evelyn Kent. Presiding Officer, I present the graduates in the Bachelor of Theology, Brendan Ronald Lucan. Nga Thi Hong Vu. Presiding Officer, I present the graduate in the Associate Degree in Creative Arts and Design, Samuel Alexander van der Ruyt. Presiding Officer, I present the graduate in the University Certificate in Liberal Studies Arts with distinction, Adelaide Marguerite Pilt. Presiding Officer, I present the graduate in the Master of Information Studies, Naomi Giles. Presiding Officer, I present the graduate in the Master of Customs Administration with distinction, Takemore Mukitiwa. Presiding Officer, that concludes the presentation of the Faculty of Arts and Education graduates.
Before we continue. Just because we missed a very important photograph at the beginning. We do want everyone to have one. So, last photograph. Please come this way.
I now call upon Jodie Wadling to deliver the response by the graduate's representative.
Presiding Officer Professor Quinn, Dr McGrath, Mr Bridger, distinguished guests, fellow graduates, and of course, and probably most importantly, our family and friends. Good morning. My name is Jodie Wadling, and like my fellow graduates, I am truly delighted to be here today after years of hard, but also incredibly rewarding work. It is a great honour and privilege to have been asked to deliver a vote of thanks on behalf of all graduates in acknowledgement of the support we have each received as we have embarked on our individual learning journeys. And what a journey it's been. Being a student involves hard work and sacrifice, but we are rewarded by the knowledge gained, perspectives changed, personal growth, and entirely satisfying sense of achievement at having persevered to reach our goals. So my fellow graduates, congratulations to each of you on this great accomplishment. And it's truly fitting that today our achievements are recognised in the presence of the family, friends and faculty members who have supported us every step of the way. In life, if you're lucky, you have someone in your corner who believes in you almost more than you believe in yourself. And in doing so, they inspire you to step out of your comfort zone and directly into new challenges. Often they're a family member, a parent or guardian, partner or spouse, son or daughter, brother or sister, aunt, uncle, cousin, grandparent, or maybe a cherished friend. What I didn't anticipate was finding one of those very special people right here at Charles Sturt. In my case, it was the irrepressible Dr. Rosalind Cox. And I'm sure many of today's graduates have found their own mentors and cheerleaders among the wonderful CSU staff. It is the collective power of all these supporters, our family, friends, professors, lecturers and supervisors, that has carried us here today. And on behalf of all the graduates, I extend to each of you our deep gratitude for your support and your dedication to ensuring our success. We hope we've made you proud. On a personal note, I would like to thank my husband Ben and our beautiful daughters, Billy and Summer. I continue to seek new knowledge in the hope of contributing in some small way to making the world a better place for them, in the same way they've made the world a better place for me. Thank you also to the team at Charles Sturt who have organised today's ceremony and provided us with this wonderful opportunity to celebrate in person with our family and friends. I would also like to thank our guest speaker, Mr. Kieran Bridger, for taking time out of their busy schedule to be here with us today. May I ask all graduates to now show your appreciation. In closing, and in the words of the great Nelson Mandela, education is the most powerful weapon you can use to change the world. So my fellow graduates, let's change the world. Thank you.
Thank you, Jodie. I now invite back the presiding officer, Professor Jane Quinn, to deliver the charge to graduates.
Okay, graduates, all please stand. As newly conferred graduates of Charles Sturt University, I entrust you to use the knowledge and skills you have acquired to respectfully live well in a world worth living in. Work collaboratively with others for the benefit of your profession and your community, and develop and spread wisdom to live and work in this future sustainable world. Remain also connected to our university and your fellow graduates through the Charles Sturt alumni community. And now I'll invite our new graduates, please, to receive a huge round of applause. Thank you, everyone. Thank you, everyone, for joining in this really important ceremony with us today. And thank you especially for that incredibly warm congratulation to our graduates. So from all of us, huge congratulations, very well done. And you can now be seated again. Thank you.
Graduates and our distinguished guests, that concludes our ceremony. On behalf of the presiding officer and all Charles Sturt University staff, we would like to thank you for being part of our celebration and invite you to join us all for refreshments outside. Please stand while the official party retires. Our graduates will then follow the official party.